face. Oh, hello there. We played a lot of video games such as Uncharted series or the Tomb Raider, and even a little bit of Last of Us, and there's some other games involved in there. You might have noticed that climbing is a pretty essential skill in your OTC gaming experience. And I'm going to go over the gear you're going to need for OTC or on the couch climbing. So the first thing you're going to need for your OTC setup for climbing is you're going to need a television. And you attach that television, you're going to need yourself a gaming system. Attached to that gaming system, you're going to need yourself some controllers to control your avatar. And then you need some sort of game that allows you to climb OTC style. And then let's not forget the necessary nutritional noms that you're going to need to keep yourself from being fatigued as you OTC climb. And that is the Mountain Dew and Doritos, which is essential gamer fuel. What's that? Oh, you're LARP operator. So you don't play the climb, you do the climb. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to need a few different things. Let me show you what you're going to need. Okay, so what I got here is my climbing bag. This is the bag I got while I was in Mexico LARPing there a few years back. But anyways, let's see what's in it. So first off, we got ourselves a climbing rope. Now, some people, I know a few guys that they'll go out to like a Home Depot or a Lowe's and they'll just get themselves a rope. Do I recommend it? No. The reason why I don't recommend this is because although those utility ropes may have a lot of tensile strength, what about the shock? See, the tensile strength and the shock strength are two different things. A shock strength, when a 150-pound person's falling and it puts shocks to that rope, the weight on that rope is not 150 pounds. It's much higher because you have to absorb that shock. And a utility rope might break. So, would I recommend this? Absolutely not. But you can get yourself a good climbing rope at, let's say, a Moose Jaw or an REI or other climbing store. So that's the first thing in my bag, is a good climbing rope. Let's see what else I got in here. Oh, more rope. Yep. And oh, yep, some webbing. So, what do I have these ropes for if I got that rope, huh? Well, you see, when you're anchoring yourself to the wall, you want a redundant system. And the reason being is because if one fails, let's say if this were to break, I got another rope to catch me. Or if this were to fail, I have my webbing to catch me. So it's a redundant system. Let's see what else in the bag here. Yep, just like, my climbing harness. Now this ain't nothing fancy, you don't have to get those $100 harnesses. This is an old military harness, but still does me good. So, oh, and what's here? Oh, yeah. So this here is my carabiner and my two belay devices, also known as ATCs. And as you notice, this carabiner locks. Friendly phrase I like to remember is, remember to screw down so you don't screw up. The reason being is because I don't want my rope to slip out of this and then I'm not attached to anything, I go fall. So we use these carabiners to do one of two things. One, we belay our partners, and then two, we can use it to rappel. And then also attached to my harness is these two extra carabiners. Now, as I said before, I have a backup or redundant system. And the way I do that is I'll take one carabiner and attach it to my weapon, and the other carabiner and attach it to my orange rope. And then when I put them together, so it's clip here, I have the openings facing the opposite direction, so that way, if one carabiner were to fail, or let's say both were to fail at the same time, the rope would be pinched in between there and unable to escape, preventing me from falling. or if it was only one side, it could potentially slip out and I would fall. So, that's not what we want. Next in the bag, I got some, I got my climbing shoes here. Yep. So climbing shoes are pretty important when you're climbing on real rock. I used to go out there for the climbing walls and I just used damn old wrestling shoes. They were pretty good, but once I got to the real wall, I was slipping all over the place. So I got me some climbing shoes and made a significant difference. So what you might notice is that when you put on climbing shoes, they're going to be very tight. The reason being, it makes your foot almost like a hoof. So when you have those small ledges, you can push off it and it doesn't slip. Like my old wrestling shoes would just slip off and not be like a hoof and just catch that ledge. So there you go. That's my basic climbing equipment there. The only thing I might have extra is a cloth, because when that rope, my anchors are hanging on the cliff and I'm swaying about, it might fray the rope a little bit, maybe a bit of a safety issue, so you can use a piece of cloth or a piece of carpet to kind of pad that rope so it doesn't fray. Now, one thing I want to stress is having redundant systems. Now, I said before, I have 2 anchors and I have 2 carabiners. And they're facing the opposite way. And the reason being is that when you're LARPing, especially climbing LARPing, it can be dangerous. I mean, you're 40, 50 feet up the air, sometimes even higher. And you got to take into account that, yeah, you are in a potentially dangerous situation. And the reason I say this is because last time I went climbing, we had a girl, not in our group thankfully, but she fell 40 feet from the very top of the cliff, fell straight down, hit the ground, bounced off onto another ledge, and she had to be carried off by paramedics. Thankfully, she had full mobility in her fingers and toes. She had full sensations. She fell on her butt, thankfully not her neck, but it could have been a very bad situation. Now with her, she was not anchoring properly. When I went up there and checked it out, it looks like she was using ratchet straps. And it gave way. And also, she had 1 anchor. You gotta use the redundant systems. I mean, it takes a while to set up and may be a pain, but I'd gladly do that time to set up it properly than to fall. If she had 1 ratchet strap and she had no backup, so first mistake, ratchet strap, not a good solid anchor, and then 2, she had no redundant system. When I anchor my stuff, I use figure-8 knots because I know it's a very strong knot and I trust my life to it. And I'm not going to trust some sort of mechanical device that could fail. Figure-8's very simple. Unless you cut the rope, it's not coming off. Unless you untie it. But anyways, you know what I mean. It's a very deliberate process to get that rope to unravel. With a ratchet strap, sometimes they just come undone. You can ride down the road and sometimes it'll come undone. So, and then on top of that, I have a backup system. And then backup carabiners. Always in pairs. Never trust your life to one. And hope she's alright, but when I did it, I even used 3 redundant systems. Because there's my life on the line, as well as my friends, because I'm the one sitting at the anchors. I don't want that on my conscience. I don't think anyone wants that on their conscience. I'm sure the person her friend that she was with, I think he was the one that might have set it up. I'm sure he feels terrible. So when you're doing these LARPs, you take into account that some of these things are dangerous, and you need to take your safety into account. So that's my basic, my basic climbing equipment here. Now there's a lot more things you can get. There's other anchoring systems you can get to hook into those little crevices when you're lead climbing. You have those quick clips. I mean, the list goes on and on, but I'm not that advanced. I'd be what you would call a noob. not too much experience points gained yet in my LARPing for my climb, but I'm working on it. You know, I'm working on it. So, yeah, that's my basic climbing equipment for my climbing LARPs. I hope you LARP operators enjoyed this video. And, you know, always like or subscribe to my videos or leave a comment. Alright, peace.